Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. The actual playoffs start today. The Mets are in. My Snakes are out. 4 games. Predictions. Who'll win it all?
Corbin Burns.
Mark Trumbo.
Oh, got me. That'd be a good matchup.
Surprised you don't have more Mark Trumbo stories. No USA Baseball? He wasn't...
We played a lot together in these showcases. We also played against each other in high school. He struck me out. I got a knock off him.
I can't...
I think I had pop, dude. Like, where did that come from?
Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. As you can already tell, it's the postseason. We're in postseason form. Jake Storielli, Trevor Plouffe, Big Baby David producing his buns off in the corner. We had a great day for baseball yesterday, a great 9 innings for baseball yesterday, a great 14 innings. The Mets, I don't know, a lot of quick swings from the Metropolitans yesterday in that second game, Trev.
I knew that's how it was going to go. There was no incentive
Yeah.
for the Mets in that second game. All they could think about was, man, I can't wait to get back and just spray alcohol all over each other. That's all they could think about.
Yeah.
Some quick swings. It ended the way that I think everyone thought it was going to end. Ozuna with the big swing. But yeah, we're set now. At least finally we have the playoff bracket. We could do our predictions. I'm excited to talk about some of the National League stuff because we did kind of got into the American League yesterday. Obviously, weren't able to get into the series in the National League, but now we can, and it's starting, Pop. And you look like you're cosplaying fall. That's what you look like.
I am fall. I am Father Fall. It's October 1st,
Do you have
man.
a pumpkin spice latte? Do you have that?
So I didn't get one today. I was worried that
Okay.
would be too autumnal. But yeah, I've got my shirt on. Booney roasted this big last week. We got some leaves and stuff floating around. It's that time of year, man.
That's true.
It comes around, and that means Ion Anderson is back in our lives.
Dude,
what? What? A talking baseball legend of sorts. Yeah, Trev, we didn't get to talk any NL. And yeah, I guess at this point, I don't know, if you're a baseball fan to this degree that you're tuning in, you probably knew what happened yesterday with the Mets and the Braves. Mets and Braves had a crazy back and forth game, incredible 8th-run rallies by both teams. And then Frankie Lindor, who Trev might have snaked out a couple more MVP votes yesterday, regular season, with the homer to bring the Mets back from one of the more Metsy situations that could have happened, that they both go dancing. And how about the Arizona Diamondbacks don't get invited to the dance, man? I know I have some heartstrings there, but best offense in baseball, but they limped down the stretch. The pitching just couldn't consistently get it done. And them and the Rangers, out.
First time that's happened since 2007.
Oh.
Tigers and Cardinals. I had a funny thought. Not a funny thought. I guess it was a sad thought, but also kind of funny. The Diamondbacks just sitting there watching the game together in the clubhouse. They get a shout out on the broadcast. They knew the whole time watching that second game. Like, how frustrating must that have been? Like, we could have handled business. Yes, we could have done that. We could have just won another game. But you're watching this team not care about what you need them to do. I wonder what they were talking about.
It's a form of light torture, right? You're replaying
A little bit.
every win that you could have had by one game.
I mean, just the last week.
Yeah. Never mind throughout the entire year. So real bummer. I was ready to drink some more Snakes Kool-Aid. We'll save it for next year. Congrats to the Mets. Congrats to the Braves. The Braves, I mean, they are in a whole bucket of weird with how their rotation is lining up. The Atlanta Braves are heading to San Diego, across the country, to tee it up for 3, while the New York Mets are heading to Milwaukee. Let's dive into it. And it's brought to you by Corona Extra. God, it's going to be a big Corona month. October playoffs, my birthday, Libra gang, rise up. It's Corona season, man, and hopefully your team does a little bit extra. Take the extra base. get that extra cage work in before the game, Trev. That's what it's about. Learn the outfield walls, when you need to make that relay. And the players aren't doing that with Corona Extra probably, but you should be. Enjoy it. Live La Vida Mas Fina. Watching the playoffs with us. We're going to be streaming pretty much a postseason game a night. We're streaming all day today, every game, all 4. So grab a couple Coronas. Come watch with us. Cheers to everyone who loves the game beyond the scoreboard. Corona for the fans who never lose. Get yours at ordercorona.com. 21 plus. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra beer imported by Crown Imports. There's a link in the description.
Awesome. Vinnie Pasquantino is active for the ALDS.
Yeah.
Oh,
that changes everything.
I could sense it in my bones, man. Bones.
I think he was just like,
Bones.
give me something. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, if it's pain, it's pain. Pain don't hurt.
God, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh,
that fires me up, dude.
God, there are some Royals fans in Baltimore right now. Gonna have some babies named Pasquantino. Trev, before we get to our predictions, the bracket. I think you and I both had perfect brackets last year, so we'll follow that up. Let's start out with Atlanta and San Diego. Man, the Braves, I think everyone kind of knows where we're at. The Braves are loaded. They extended everyone for a decade. They're nasty. And they ran into baseball this year. They had the injury bug happen, and they ran into it even in game 162. Chris Sale, who got pushed from the original Hurricane games, which I feel bad labeling that way, but it's kind of true. And then you're like, okay, they're about to throw Chris Sale. They're going to win. They're going to win this game and go to the playoffs. Back spasms. And then my brain starts spinning and I'm like, is this just funny business? Like they know they're going to win this game anyways because the Mets want to get out of Dodge. So they're saving Chris Sale? No. And we had talked about it, like Chris Sale's velo had been down a start or two ago. So the Atlanta Braves in a 3-game playoff series are flying across the country after a doubleheader to go see the San Diego Padres, who, Trev, you've been on them for a while. They're literally built for this. Top end of the rotation, top end talent in the lineup, a deep lineup, and top end bullpen options. And we're going to have some mix of Braves AAA pitchers that we've seen. I mean, luckily these are guys we've seen have levels of success at the major league level. Ian Anderson, a Talkin baseball legend, and was in a tweet was labeled one of the best postseason pitchers ever, and is kind of true. he just hasn't pitched in the big leagues since I think was that August of 22? It's October of 24. AJ Smith Shaver, he's top prospect, young kid. We've seen him come up at different points throughout the past couple years, and Bryce Elder, who was electric the year before. Baseball Savant hated him, and it turned out for a reason because he got knocked around a little bit this year. So, Trev, I got wordsy as I do sometimes, but what else is going on here besides pure chaos?
Yeah, I'm just curious. We were talking about this before the show. Obviously, the Chris Sale stuff sucks. I mean, he'd been battling with that for a while. I guess before yesterday's game, the night before, just kind of locked up on him. They were trying to get him ready, and then it just didn't happen. And now, yes, we're left with this interesting decision. And I mean, I don't know when we're going to get the ultimate decision. But any way you slice it, it seems to me like my question to you was, why aren't we just like moving guys up and just pitching maybe on a little bit shorter rest? And we don't really have an answer for why they wouldn't do that other than, hey, man, there is some strategy to that, to having your number one guy go game 2. I don't really understand that, but we're here. And I think, if anything, baseball is one of those sports where this is nuts and it's not an advantage for them, at all, but anything can happen. We saw the Braves go do it yesterday, and bring in Holmes out of nowhere 30 minutes before the game, and he looked great. Now, I know the Mets weren't like going full throttle, and the Padres are rested and can't wait. They're chomping at the bit to get out there, but we just saw him do it. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think if
It's not ideal for the Braves, but this is baseball.
a looming scary question for the Braves is, are we going to see in a 3-game series, are we going to see like a punt game in game 1? Because, dude, their closer, Raisel Iglesias, who we've highlighted through the years, was special. He pitched in 2 games yesterday.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. The high leverage bullpen guys are kind of out today.
Jimenez, their setup guy, he pitched in 2 games yesterday. We live in a time period where teams don't do that anymore. Like, not to go old head on people, but like there used to be a time in a doubleheader that if a reliever threw 11 pitches in the first game, they'd be like, yeah, he could probably throw in the second. We've kind of like gone past that because we're horrified of pitchers.
The only ones that do that are closers still. Like they still want the ball at the end of the game.
I mean, for Raisel and Joe, I mean, unless the Braves somehow show up in the 9th inning with a lead, and then maybe you start having some interesting conversations. But, I mean, the Braves are coming in as depleted as a pitching staff as possible. That, I think the other side that needs to be said about this, Max Fried, our guy, is lined up for game 2. And go look at the stats over the past couple years. I know he's had a unique year for Max Fried, where, by the way, his stats have landed in an incredible place. That they'll have Max Fried lined up for game 2. And then it would be a hodgepodge. Like, Dalton put Reynaldo Lopez on here, but he also threw yesterday. Charlie Morton is around. That, I don't know. If you're going to have a guy go on a little bit of shorter rest, I feel like the veteran, the salt man, Charlie Morton, and then you still have Reynaldo. But the Braves are going to be piecemealing kind of every out of this series except at least 5 innings from Max Fried.
I'm looking at it right now. So Charlie pitched on Sunday. He hasn't been, as consistent as, people give him credit for, but he is a big postseason pitcher, as we always talk about. So yes, tomorrow will be Max Fried. Ronaldo, I think, will be fine. He only threw 10 pitches or 15 pitches yesterday. It makes sense that it's going to be whatever they can get today from their guys. It is going to be some sort of a bullpen game today. And then Max is going to be full throttle. And then I think Ronaldo Lopez is going to be full throttle, and they'll just go from there. I mean, seems like that's the plan right now. Charlie cannot throw today. There's no way.
No.
He threw 75 pitches on Sunday, so he's out. I'm just trying to think of like some more bulk guys they can go to get through the game today.
Well, and it's
going to be interesting. That Snicker's going to have to earn his money, and I mean they've dealt with this all year long, man. I was just thinking about that. It's been Strider, Acuna, Austin Riley. Like it's been tough for them.
If we were like bad clickbait radio, I think the clip I would go with is like, the Braves can win by losing today. Like if they just
save their pitching.
Yes, if they have 2 pitchers go out there and just eat it today. And I mean, hey man, like these Braves are sickos. Like, Ozzie Albies, their 8th inning rally was pretty cool yesterday. That I don't understand if he's got something up his sleeve, and those Padre innings, if they don't get to him in the first 3 or so, you're going to get some anxious at bats. But I do feel like we've been so far away from the Padres so far, who, Trev, you've been on them. They're built for this, and the only, I guess, surprise when you and I were getting into this is they're going Michael King game 1, who, go check out the stats. There's a reason this guy
really good.
There's a reason this guy was traded for Juan Soto as part of the package. But this guy has electric stuff. He put together an incredible full season, ERA under 3, that he's going to open up. And then they have Musgrove, who's been dealing and has had some really strong playoff performances. And then Dylan Cease would be lined up for game 3, that we were wondering, is this wild card strategy? Is this, hey, if we can win those first 2 and have Cease saved up for game 1? I think it's a mix of both.
Yeah, it's Michael King hasn't pitched since the 24th of September. So he's has the most rest, I guess, from any of their starting pitchers. So maybe that's what we're talking about here. You don't want cobwebs on the guy. So let's get him out there, kind of as close. I mean, it'll be a week between starts. So get him out there. And then it was Cease on the 25th, and then it was Musgrove on the 26th. So they're kind of flip-flopping here. It's a curious decision, but I mean, really it's pick your poison with these guys. They've all ended the season looking great, and the Padres, have starting pitching in spades right now. They have pitching in spades right now. Their lineup is deep right now. I mean, these guys they're raring to go. It's kind of a tale of two different teams right now. Padres rested, fully loaded. The Braves depleted and tired. And sometimes I'd rather go with the depleted and tired team, man. It's just how baseball works.
Well, dude, the thing that always gets me, I'm a sports loser, and rest versus rust is something that always comes up, and it just is what it is. This is a little different. I mean, the Padres, they played Sunday, where the Braves have played 3 games in that time frame.
The offense should not be rusty.
No, and I guess that's where I was kind of going this, whether it's basketball or whether it's, even football, when that first round of playoffs comes in and there's the one team had a bye, but they come into that second playoff game. Sure, they're rested, but that second playoff team, like they're already rolling, like they're already in it. They've been playing the game. There's normally in a game like this, I'm like, watch out for the Braves early. Like they've got nothing to lose. Think of everything we just said. Half their pitchers are dead. They just lost the Cy Young winner. Their closer, who had like a perfect, he basically threw 3 perfect games more. They're all out. We're missing our MVP outfielder. We're missing a guy who has an argument to be the best third baseman. Like, they're going to be playing free and loose, and sometimes that works in this sport. Yes. But I don't know, man. We got some DraftKings Sportsbook coming up. I think if one thing goes wrong, I think if the Padres, if they put up a 2 spot in the second inning, I think the Braves start looking around like, let's get to the hotel. Let's get Max Fried on the bump tomorrow, and let's win 2.
Yeah, I'm curious about their pitching plan today. What they're going to do if they do get in a hole like that. But yeah, if we're just looking at rosters, which is kind of what we can do right now, look at the rosters. It's hard to beat what the Padres have created this year because they, in all facets of the game, they get the job done. So
right.
When we get to our predictions, I think both you and I have our mind made up. I'm getting pulled a little bit with your got nothing to lose Braves. Like that's a little scary, but this Padres roster is a little overwhelming. It's hard to get past it.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, it's a 3-game baseball series, and maybe we'll be here punching ourselves. But yeah, you have to pick San Diego. I think the only thing that could get really interesting, Trev. Let's say the Braves do it today. King walks a couple guys in the first. Marcel the Bear hits a 3-run homer. Ion Anderson is that guy. Now that Dylan Cease, Joe Musgrove conversation gets a little interesting because...
Oh, they could flip him.
Right. But, a game to decide your season, and now are you going to throw Cease out there? Because he's been the guy. I mean, Joe Musgrove is Mr. San Diego. Like, he's got 100 M's in his bank account. And
they both will have their spikes on, which is the best thing about the
I love how excited you get about a pitcher having... I love how excited you get
they have to be in uniform. Oh, my gosh.
A pitcher having to be ready to play.
I like this note here we have on the sheet. Talk about the Padres and some of their struggles against left-handed pitchers. You have Dylan Lee and Aaron Bummer out there in the pen for the Braves. Am I imagining things, or yesterday did he hit Pete Alonso with the ball when Pete swung at it?
Oh.
I think he did. And Pete smiled. Yeah.
I thought you were asking if Dylan Lee started a World Series game a couple years ago, and the answer to that is yes.
The answer to that is yes.
Golly.
I think it was Bummer who hit Pete yesterday, with a slider, and Pete was smiling at him. I was like, okay, here we go.
All right, guys. Yeah, I think just some. Any other fun facts? Let's see. Like, we have some of the matchup stuff. If it gets to Dylan Cease versus Jorge Soler 0 for 20 spot, Trev. That's not seeing that too hot. Luis Ariz with a 400 batting average against Reynaldo Lopez. I don't know. We'll be going every day, so we'll be able to update you guys on those. And yeah, this is the last game of the day, right? So this is going to be the 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. Nice.
Another great visual is going to be Darvish in the pen. Does he
Yeah.
start in the pen? Does he walk out in the fourth? I can't wait. I mean, those are decisions that only you can make, right?
Well,
there.
dude, the other thing that's, I love Mike King. Mike King was, I'll be honest, he was friendly with us early Talking Yanks days. And then we got to see the evolution go from him like long reliever to high leverage reliever to getting stretched to a starter to being like a piece in the Juan Soto trade to being an elite starting pitcher. Playoffs are different. That, if he's having a tough time out there, you got Darvish in the bullpen. So the Padres like this,
dude, they have everyone.
It's going to be fun. They do have everyone in there.
They're scary, man. They're scary.
It's going to be fun. I think we're both soft in picking the Padres. I guess we could save it.
I'm not telling you yet. We have a full prediction part of the show coming up.
We got a full prediction part of the show coming up. Trevor, the New York Mets have made the playoffs. No LOL Mets yesterday. Couple scary moments early on. A powerful 8th inning rally, a powerful 9th inning rally. Frankie Lindor.
Crazy.
Oh, my God. Jose Iglesias. And now the Stearns Bowl is happening. We saw this in a couple of the stimulators. If you have no idea, Stearns, who I think he was like an intern for the Mets like as a kid, right? And then, basically the rumors around baseball was that Uncle Stevie was waiting for Stearns to come available. They got him. He's here. This was supposed to be the rebuilding year. And they end up in the dance against the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers swept them in New York the first series of the season. So LOL Mets to start the year, if people remember, I think it was 0-5 to start. The Brewers won 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee at the end of the year, the 27th through the 29th. I should have said this with Padres Braves too. They played earlier on this year, lost it. Braves won 2 out of 3 in San Diego in July. Padres won 3 out of 4 in May. So I don't, at this point of the year, does it mean anything? It really doesn't. I guess
it really doesn't.
I guess I felt like a bad host for a second, but that March Brewers series doesn't ring off. The other thing that this series is labeled the McGill Bowl. Those big sweaty boys.
You think they're sweaty? They are sweaty, aren't they?
Oh yes.
Mama McGill's
hair.
all over Twitter. What's up, Mama McGill?
Love that.
She probably listens.
Let's get our Donna Kelsey. Let's get Mama McGill in the mix with the split jersey. Trev, I guess where do you start? The upstart Mets versus the dominant Brewers of this season.
I think what we talked about with the Braves is the same thing we can say about the Mets, almost on a more positive note. I mean, they're healthy. They're going into this feeling good. They got to save one of their pitchers who wasn't injured for this series, so they're set up pitching wise. They have all the momentum in the world. Like, everything is lining up where the Mets seem like they're that dark horse team that has the mojo, the October magic, if you will. But the Brewers don't care about that. They have their own devil magic. We know about that. So I think this is the best series in the wild card round. I really do. This is going to be a fun one. Like I said, everyone is lined up for this. We just talked about the mess that will be game 1 for the Braves. I don't feel like that is going to happen here with the Mets, maybe with the exception of, is Edwin Diaz going to be available for all 3 games? I think he said yes, I
think he said yes for tonight. I don't think you can pitch him tonight. I don't even think you want to pitch him tonight. Like, he's got a history of On back-to-back days, he's always pitched worse.
You're telling me
he just
2 outs,
emptied the clip.
1 out in the 9th. A runner gets on.
You're 1,000% right.
Eddie,
Eddie, get up, kid. We're playing baseball.
Yeah.
Throw a couple good sliders. Let's win a game. You're absolutely right.
I mean, and again, these are two teams that I don't think anyone really thought of when we were talking. They'd be considered almost powerhouses going into the playoffs at the beginning of the year, but the Brewers proved that they have been. I mean, they're a team that can do it anyway. They had one of the best scoring offenses in baseball, which I don't think people give them enough credit for. Like, they were scoring runs this year.
Yes.
I think people think about them as a run prevention team because of the defense, because of the bullpen. But they can score, man, and they can hit 3-run homers. Our guy Willie Adames. How many 3-run homers is this guy going to hit? That's as far as the Brewers are going to go. I'll tell you that much. I love the Rhys Hoskins factor here. It's going to be a good one.
The Mets are going Luis Severino, and then they expect to go Manaea Quintana. Those second two aren't locked in. While the Brewers are going Freddie Peralta, and then you'd assume Savale Montas. They also haven't locked in those next two, and they're a little more. I think they want to be a little flexible about it if they need to be, because man, they have pitching options. So I don't know, Trev. I think the story. Sports Jake kicking in, which was my original AOL username. Sports Jake flex. Yeah, okay. A lot of people fighting for that one. The Mets are playing with house money. They've been playing with house money. The Brewers have known they're going dancing since July,
yes.
February. Like this organization has been kind of the class of the Central. I mean, pressure-wise, it feels like there's pressure on Milwaukee that their recent playoff history is also pretty tough. I mean, they've lost 9 of their last 10 playoff games. They haven't won a playoff series since reaching Game 7 of the 2018 NLCS. I mean, this one, we talked about the Braves playing on fumes, and you kind of like that. Like, let's go. We got nothing to lose. Here we go. But, God, they used up a lot of fumes. Feels like the Mets, they're running on fumes in the good way.
Yeah, I do think it is different for the Mets because they won Game 1 yesterday. It changed everything for them. They got to save their pitcher. They got to rest some of the guys. They were feeling good. Like the stress was gone. The Braves, stress, get on an airplane. And I don't think that's the case. I'm still interested for the Brewers. Is Frelick going to be on the roster? Is he going to play? Because that sets up their outfield defense. And they can kind of roll with the guys they've had out there. With him in right field, trio, and left. And that's a big part of what they do. I think we're going to see them be very aggressive on the base pass because, number one, that's their team identity. But number two, we've seen the Mets really, really struggle with that. There were some times yesterday I was like, they don't care at all about the stolen base. And they have to figure that out. And I don't know how they can. Are we going to see some pitch outs? Are we going to see an emphasis on, holding the runners, trying to manipulate the clock, all these different things? Because if they don't, and you're giving a team that gets on base and can steal bases, you're just giving them such an advantage. And that's what the Brewers do. They look to exploit whatever advantage that they can get. I think that's going to be a big key. I mean, for anyone that's facing the Brewers, but specifically the Mets, because we've seen them have a difficulty against that this year.
Man, we got a couple Dominican daddies on the bump in Game 1. Freddie Peralta, who, the rotating door of Brewers aces that they've put together. I think there was some that wanted a little more from him in the regular season, but it's still a very 32 starts, 173 innings, 200 strikeouts, where Sevy has a nice bounce back year, a $182 innings, a 3.91 ERA. His last start wasn't great, but the others were fine leading up to that. Sevy has an interesting postseason history. I think in 10 starts, he only has one quality start. He famously, when he was coming up for the Yankees, his first ever debut, he only got one out. The Didi Gregorius Grand Slam game for Yankee fans.
Was that against my Twins?
It was against your Twins.
Brian Dozier popped him.
Edwin Jackson.
Eddie Rosario popped him.
What was that game?
Edwin Jackson was in that game.
I think he started that for the Twins in a one-game wild card.
No. That was
I'll click the box score. Irvin Santana, excuse
Irvin
me.
Santana,
Excuse me.
I crossed up the two of them in a short the other day. It's all good.
We're canceled.
That's unbelievable, guys.
So
E-names that played everywhere.
I think that's
they
the one
played
team that Edwin
everywhere.
Jackson didn't play for was.
he might
Twins.
next year. Twins rebuilding.
Yeah. Oh God, let's not talk about the Twins.
In 43.2 career playoff innings, Sevy has a 5.15 ERA. So the postseason history for Sevy hasn't been that great. There was a couple weird ones. There was a game where they didn't have the start time right for the game, so he was rushing in the outfield to get ready. He also used to be like young and over juiced up. You could visibly see that. Interested to see now a 30-year-old Luis Severino. Like, hey, he had to come back from a low time last year. In a contract year, he threw up a dud. He kind of bounces back with the Mets this year. He gets his chance going against Freddie Peralta. That I don't know. I love Sevy. Joe's is very close to the situation there. I gotta see a little bit more in the playoffs to believe the dog's gonna come out. But we could very well wake up tomorrow and it's like, hey, 30-year-old Luis Severino locked in for a big game.
Yeah, this is the pitching's interesting to me because even though the Mets had to play this doubleheader yesterday, I still feel like they're more traditionally set up for the series as far as having their starters. They understand the kind of role where they're going to go. And the Brewers, they haven't done that all year. And I don't think you mentioned they don't have any pitching plans set in stone after game one. Peralta's going to go. We'll see how this game goes. I'm curious if they win game one, do they put Savali out there and say, hey, let's see what we get out of him? Or do they go for the jugular and do kind of like their bullpen opener thing, which they've done quite a bit this year and have been successful? I mean, these are the decisions that Murph's going to have to make. I'd assume if they win game one, they would go with a starter and then have a real short leash, whether it's Montes or whether it's Savali, see what they got. If it looks bad from the get-go, if anything happens, bullpen comes in. I'd assume that's what happens.
God, watch out for David Peterson in this story. His ERA ended up below 3 this year, and he just had a really strong start against the Brewers. So it's like, do they maybe save him for a game 2 or like a game 3 start? Or if they have a chance to win today, say Sevy gives them 5 or 6 strong, do they go to Peterson to try to ride things out because they're running out of bullpen? But no, I think that would be too close. I don't know. The Mets, as much as I'm hyping them up and they've got some good things here, that bullpen's getting thin quick today. I think Phil Maton has thrown 3 straight days. Edwin Diaz has thrown a lot of bullets on back-to-back days that, if they find themselves in a situation, they are not out of the woods until that final out is in someone's glove. So I think you might be right. This lines up as the best playoff series. Wild card.
I was going to say, give me a Devin Williams versus Francisco Lindor at bat in this series. Looked at the stats, 0 for 3 against Devin Williams, but no punchies. Just, I don't know, some ground outs, maybe a pop-up. I'm not sure. But I would love to see that matchup. Lindor is a superstar, man. And I hope he does get some first-place votes. I assume he will. They're probably going to be from New York voters. That's fine.
Sure.
But he fucking put the team on his injured back yesterday.
Literally.
And then he hugged Steve Cohen, and I'm like, what are you guys? You're so rich
Smart.
together. What are you guys doing?
Smart.
Don't you love that when an owner's on the field? Like, I love that.
I do. It was also a good reminder, like, just how big athletes are. Like, I guess I just never put Steve Cohen's height in my brain. Because, I don't know, sometimes rich guys are tall. But, yeah, it was like, oh, you're one of us. One of us. Good to have.
And Lindor's just a little bit bigger than you think too. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He kind of plays the game small, like
Right.
at shortstop. But you get up next to him, he's pretty broad. He's a hot boy.
He is a hot boy. Does the smile almost take away from his hotness because it's too cute?
It's overwhelming sometimes. You get next to him, like,
Right.
dang, dude.
Big mouth.
Good smile.
Jesse Winker, trade deadline ad. Which, hey, this is the season we fall in love with those kind of moves. Jesse Winker, career .333 with 2 homers off of Freddie Peralta.
Yes, he'll be in the lineup.
He will be in the lineup today. Brandon Nimmo, 0 for 8. Let's see what else we got. Excited to see your guy Reeser out there.
Yes, I am too.
Just did some Chris Rose rotation, so that's exciting.
Is he the X factor for the Brewers like lineup? I was trying to think like who it could be. Is it going to be Chiriot? I almost like. Do you expect a guy that young? I mean, he's played all season long. I feel like he's got his bearings now, but playoffs, first season, too much pressure. Maybe he puts on himself. Do you expect him to ball out, or do you think there's going to be a little bit of shock?
I think it's where the actual game script matters. Like if Freddie P were to have a bad first inning and Chiriot comes out with 2 on, he's trying to hit a homer. And I would do the same thing if I was, never mind if I was 20 or, did he turn 21? Like that's human nature. You're one of the best baseball players in the world. You just had a breakout campaign that in the big game like this, you want to be that guy, and that's what you want out of your guy. It's okay if you do that on the 0-0 pitch and you swing and your helmet comes off. Do you catch your breath and go, okay, let's get back to playing ball? Or on the next pitch, a slider in the dirt, do you take that same swing?
I think that's where Reese really comes into play here. A ton of postseason experience, a veteran who has shown to have, some big time. Yeah, Chiriot turned 20 in March. Attaboy. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. We've seen Reese have big time emotions in the playoffs, but also be able to kind of throttle them when need be. I mean, he's got one of the most electric bat slams in postseason history. Or was that postseason history? It was, right? Was it postseason or was that at the end of the regular season?
That was postseason, I believe.
It was postseason, yeah.
Yeah. They were. That's when everyone on Philly was just homering to left center field. It felt like. Interesting. I'm spinning about this one because I don't love Sevy tonight. How about this? Let's see the kids. Let's see Alvarez. Let's see Vientos. Let's see Chiriot. Let's see Terang. Let's see. Oh God,
Spagato's against Strider too.
Strider, don't put it there. Philly was ready to burn down. Dude, it's nuts to think we haven't even mentally gotten to that part yet of Philly ready to burn down the world again.
The Dodgers, there's teams that are waiting in the wings for this wild card to be over. We'll get into that later, but the Russ versus rest thing, that's where it starts.
That's where it starts to get really real. The teams that come out of this wild card, I'm starting to believe they're good, man. Your pitching kind of gets reset, and you've been playing baseball and taking live at bats. That's what matters.
In pressure situations, you got the nerves out already. These other teams are just building anticipation. What do you do as an organization? I mean, that's got to be. You're facing live pitching every single day. You're trying to get the guys out on the field. You are trying to rest them to heal up any bumps and bruises that they got, but you got to stay sharp, man. It's very difficult. Pitchers can kind of do it. It's hard to simulate that game speed. I mean, you can't simulate game speed, but they can at least keep their arms ready for a hitter. It's like, dude, you have to see live pitching. 2 days can start to affect you. 3 days is big. 4 days is big. It's like that becomes a real problem for offenses. So you have to figure out what they're doing. I'm assuming they're doing as much live BP as possible. I think they probably brought some pitchers up from the minor leagues and say, you're going to throw 7 innings today. Let's go. It's going to be. We haven't even got to that yet.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of these teams that have buys, they're going to have team practices where a lot of the bullpen guys are going to have a throw day to the live hitters, which just ain't the same for a lot of different reasons.
Not the same.
Just not the same for a lot of different reasons. That
you're looking at that guy on the hill. You don't want to kill him.
right. There's no
like
crowd
you do when you get up there. Yeah, it's different.
But that reliever is probably told like, hey, if you throw inside, you better not hit that guy. But yeah. Trev, the DraftKings Sportsbook. We're going to be live streaming. I'm going to be placing bet. I kind of crushed yesterday. Detroit's football team late night. I was just like, I don't know. This is how the NFL works. Seattle's not going 4-0. And the Mets come back. Me and BBD did okay there. It's playoff baseball time. Get in on the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook. They're going to have live odds boosts. They've got their same game parlays. And with code Talkin, $5 will instantly get you $200 in bonus bets when you place it at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code TALKIN. Bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code TALKIN only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, Big Daddy.
Okay.
Nuts to butts here. What do we start off with the NL because we've been doing a lot of NL, or how do you wanna do this?
Let's do it. And Beebs are going to be writing this down.
I'm writing.
We need the graphic.
We'll get the graphic. We'll get everyone mad.
Everyone's me mad. Are we doing stimulator music while we do this?
No, I'm too H for that right now.
You're too HB. I am too.
Dude, we got a long ride. Like we got a long postseason. I can't stimulate right now.
Fine.
I'm gonna be in the building till like midnight. Let's do the game. Let's do the series we just talked about. The Stearns Bowl, the McGill Brawl. Mets Brewers, 3 games in Milwaukee. God, this is real.
This is a tough one.
Normally we just let BBD's supercomputer put out the answer. We normally don't have to say anything.
I'm gonna go Mets here.
Oh, God.
I think they have the momentum. I do.
Jesus.
And as long as Francisco Lindor can play all the games, I mean, he looked like he was kind of moving slow, but he still got the job done. As long as he can play, I think he's got it right now. So I don't love this pick because the Brewers might just run all over the Mets and put everyone in scoring position to do it. But I think I'm going to go with the momentum team here and go Mets.
I kind of wanted to go Mets. This is tough because this is always one of those when we're doing this, like, God, it'd feel really dumb to go against the Brew Crew in a 3-game series.
They've done it all year long.
They've done it all year long.
That was a Pat Murphy quote. It's like, we've been winning all season long. Why would we, stop now?
But then it's also
makes sense.
It's also that, God, these can go either way.
Think about the Jose Iglesias at bat yesterday, dude. They don't bun him. He just sticks the barrel out there, knocks it right. They have that magic right now.
I have the Brewers winning game 1. That's the only thing that's throwing me off right now.
You have Sevy PTSD.
Yeah, and dude, Edwin's out. I'm gonna go Brewers.
I like that for us. We need that.
Yeah. You can get cute with it, and I like the Mets, man. I do, and I think if they win game 1, done. Like Manaya's been incredible, Quintana or Peterson, whatever. I don't know. I think we've all been a little too scarred by the wild card. Dude, they just played a double dick yesterday. Like, this isn't normal.
They sort of played a double dip yesterday. Yeah, that's interesting.
I'll go Brewers.
Oh my gosh, Acuna versus Churio. How old are those two combined?
Children.
Younger than me?
Yes, they're closer to Teddy. The Braves and the Padres. I'll go first this time because I already revealed it. It's the Padres. Like, how could I not think it's the Padres? They've been built for this. They've been playing incredible. They have the Braves outgunned in every facet, and the Braves are literally coming in the worst case scenario for any playoff baseball team.
Usually, you know this, Jake. If that's the case,
Right.
and you're trying to sprinkle a little something on it, you go to the Braves side. But I also, I'm on the Padres. The vibe is there for me. And that's what if we were running a team, you and I, number one, vibes, number two, numbers.
Right.
Padres kind of have both. I'm going Padres.
Dude, know it got a laugh out of me during the Monday Night Football game last night. They were talking about I think it was the Lions GM, and they were like, he basically had a quote that was like, yeah, there's a lot of stats and nerd stuff now, but football is still like a game about hitting each other. So we
so true.
it kind of comes down to that. I think baseball needs just a little bit more of that back.
Yes, dude. I think those guys that the analytical team needs to go down to like the Dominican and to Puerto Rico, Venezuela, and just kind of see what's going on.
Trev, when you tuck the kids in, and I don't, I think you've been off the 420 train, but me and Joe's did a JM baseball video. He got some laughs out of me. We got some real Dominican food. Yeah. He was like, this is where they get their power from. It was chicken, rice, and beans. And like while I was eating it, I was like, I'm getting stronger. I can hit a ball further. Speaking of, the Phillies would then either tee off against the Mets or the Brewers. We have split our vote there. Who do you have winning that series?
I got the Phillies. They are my team this year. I think that talk about rosters, they have one of the most complete rosters in all of baseball. They kind of have everything going for them. I like the Phillies.
Yeah, I'm not picking against them. We talked about the layoff and stuff like that. Like, has there ever been a team that felt like they don't care more? Like, you think Bryce Harper is going to blame 5 days off on not hitting? Like, Phillies.
Some of the lefty stuff scares me because if the Mets make it, they got some lefties out there. That's going to be
Phillies would be very interesting.
It would be very interesting.
And that Brewers bullpen.
I like Phillies.
But yeah, Phillies built for that. Now this one, Trev. Your two cities, L.A. and San Diego. The Plouffe Bowl. That's what they'd call this.
Yeah,
you and Marshall.
That's so true.
Man, this is I'm interested to see if you're a man of your word. You've been a Padres guy recently. Man, L.A. and San Diego.
The Padres have done it against the Dodgers. I was actually at a gas station yesterday.
Okay.
I was talking to the guy had to get some propane put back in the RV. So we started talking ball. The Braves game was on. Braves-Mets game. I guess I should call it the Mets game.
Just dudes.
And he was terrified of the Diamondbacks getting in. He's like, dude, you saw what happened to the Dodgers last year. That was scary. And so I said, hey, man, don't worry. These teams are going to split today. Padres versus Dodgers. In my mind, I'm seeing Padres. I am seeing Padres. I can already see the headlines. Ohtani not enough, or if he struggles, like it's going to be a lot of freaking talk around LA about it. San Diego is going to have this bragging rights. All these things are going to go on. With all that being said, I'm picking the Dodgers.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I just the first Ohtani postseason coming off 50-50. I'm a storyline guy. I just don't think he lets it happen. I think he goes and absolutely crushes. They have some time to figure out their rotation. We got to see what happens in the wild card series. Does it go 3 games? Because that changes a lot of different things. I'll go with the 2 rested teams. I'll go with the favorites, Phillies, Dodgers in the NLCS.
Man, if this series happens, which cuts to us in 3 days, Ian Anderson's the best pitcher to ever play postseason baseball, obviously. Man, this has all the makings of, and I don't know.
It's going to be so fun.
Maybe I'm dumb, dude, but like an all-time playoff series, like the story of how San Diego's gotten here, the stories of how the Dodgers have gotten here. Both of these bullpens, man, I've been on a Dodgers bullpen thing. Like, look how many guys in there have pitched in playoff innings before. And never mind the top of that lineup, but like, okay, here your next four is Teoscar, Muncy, Will Smith, Tommy Edman, who, like that guy over a full season can get you 6 WAR if you want it. That's before Gavin Lux. And our guy, Miggy Rowe.
The starting pitching is going to be interesting for the Dodgers. They're going to have to figure all that out.
They're going to have to figure that out. I
want to see my guy Jack do it.
I know.
I want to see him do it.
They need like 2 big game starting pitching performances, and you'd like to think between Flaherty, Buehler, and Yamamoto, you can find that. I'm going Padres. I think if they make it out of the wild card and they're rolling, and San Diego wants them, man. Like San Diego wants them. Sorry, Dodgers. Fans.
Padres could be the Dragon Slayer. Are they a dragon? Maybe.
Ooh, okay.
I could see them being a dragon, but they could be a Dragon Slayers too. They go in. They've already done it to LA. They got slayed by the Phillies in 2022. Was that? After they beat the Dodgers, they went and played the Phillies, and Bryce Harper hit the homer against Suarez. I'm going Dodgers. It's Dodgers Phillies. Okay. Are you going San Diego?
I'm going San Diego. So
I like that for us.
I have San Diego in the Phillies. You have Phillies in LA. I think you and I have been getting romantic about baseball, so I'll be a little tighter.
Walker Buehler last start
was good
against the Padres.
It was good.
5 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run. Only 1 strikeout.
Talking about Ian Anderson's postseason career. That guy, he's been in some big ones. Give me, jeez. Give me the Padres. I want to believe in it. The story of them trading Soto and getting back here and what they did at the deadline and Cease right before the season. Them and the Phillies have both built this whole thing the absolute right way. I don't know. I'm fine to be hurt. I'll go San Diego.
San Diego in the World Series for you.
Yeah.
I will take the Phillies going to the World Series. They're my preseason pick. I believe in this team. I think, they're going to have home field advantage. That place is going to be rocking. The energy is going to be there. Going Philly.
Okay. Trev has Philly coming out of the NL. I have the Padres. Let's go check back in on the American League journey and see who's going. The Hinch Bowl, Trev. We teed this up yesterday. Detroit and Houston.
Is Jordan available? I need to know.
I'll do one last Google. God, those knees have seen a lot. This game starts. This game starts at 2:30.
We need to get this out. It would be scary for me, and I don't know how much I would like it if we saw the Tigers versus the Guardians in the DS. That's the Central Bowl. That would be crazy. I think the Tigers really, really have a chance here. If Schoolbook goes out today and sets them up 1-0, they can go to their bullpen and do that whole thing. And that's a scary thought for the Astros. I really think it is. I think this is not a situation where the Astros are going to bully the Tigers. I do not see that happening. I need to pick some chaos in my bracket. I'm going to take the Tigers here. And it all starts with them being able to get this game 1 victory. If they get this game 1 victory, I think they win the series.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit yesterday. Take them. I'll take Houston.
Wait, hold on. I can't take them. Wait, no.
What's that mean?
I can't take them. I'm taking the Astros. I already have my prediction out there.
Oh, okay.
I can't change it now.
Okay.
I want to take the Tigers, people, but I'm taking the Astros.
I'll take Houston, and if it goes the other way, oh no. They're pretty good in the postseason from what I've seen, and I believe in that. Which means we have the shortstop bowl, the Kansas City Royals and the Baltimore Orioles. Vinnie P?
That's huge for the Royals. I would have picked the Orioles just because of the lineup depth. I think that the starting pitching, maybe you lean a little bit Kansas City, but I think it's probably a wash. Bullpen's probably a wash. I was going to lean Baltimore because of the lineup and the length there. But if you get Vinnie P back, it changes everything. This is a very interesting series for me, Jake. It really, really is. Again, I think this is a game. Whoever wins game one kind of takes this series. And you've got two studs going against each other, Burns versus Reagans. You go first on this one. I feel like I've been going first too much.
This is tough. I'm trying to keep my Yankee side out of this. Because there's just something in me that's saying, like, again, this Orioles team has felt like a disappointment for 2 months, which just feels off. Like,
so have the Royals, dude.
Yes, but their season on a whole has been a massive win.
Sure.
Where, like, I kind of like the Orioles just looking at bumping each other's chests in here and be like, the plan was to get here, and we're here, and we're good. God, I love the Royals pitching, man. I do. I'm going Orioles. I believe in lineup depth. And every guy in that Orioles lineup is going to be able to give you an at-bat where there's going to be some Royals at-bats that I can't promise you that. So
I'm going Orioles as well. I'm going Orioles as well. I think I want to say Gunnar Henderson is going to go off. Hey, Bobby Witt's a great player. You guys have forgotten about me.
Yeah.
Like I just read some article. I think it was our girl, Britt Girali. She put out yesterday about his development and going to the extra site during COVID and his draft day. It was a really fun story to read. And he just seems like an absolute dog, which he is.
He is.
So I'm going to go Gunnar Henderson in the Orioles. I'm
flipping to the Royals. Screw you.
Love that.
I think they're a fair match. If you're getting the Mets, you take the Mets, I'll take the Royals. Like, let's ride.
Okay. I mean, I really have picked favorites so far, which is this
hey,
is bad for me.
Sometimes that's how it works, but also not. So you have Cleveland, Houston. I also have Cleveland, Houston. I'll be quick. Houston. Sorry, Cleveland. It's literally nothing to do with you.
No.
It's literally nothing to do with you. It's Houston till it's not, man.
You're such an AL Central hater.
I am a Central hater. I'm okay with that.
Although I've eliminated all of the Central teams already.
Well, that's where my Royals are going up against these punchy Yankees. Well, you have the Orioles and the Yanks, which that'll be a lot of fun as well. Those teams have been heated this year.
I need some upsets in my bracket. I don't want this for our company. We need the Yanks to move on for the company. I'm going to go Orioles past the Yankees.
Good.
Now, you know what? Screw it, because I want to see Yankees Houston in the CS. Let's go. I'm going Yankees, going up against Houston in the ALCS.
I'm going Yankees. I'm going Yankees.
God, what a matchup that would be. Yes, we need that.
I think Royals would be worse. I think the Royals would be a tougher matchup for the Yanks than the Orioles. Maybe I'm just talking shit right now. Trev, to go face, you have the Phillies. I have the Padres in the World Series. The Yankees in Houston. Part 4.
I want to pick the Yankees, but again, I've already made this decision, and I cannot go back on my word. That's not who I am. The Astros are the best postseason team we've seen in decades. And this is it could be the last hurrah for this roster. Although we've said that when Springer left, and it's the Astros, man. Astros Phillies World Series.
Heart or head? Heart or head? Heart or head?
Although we've had the Josh Hader Juan Soto matchup already, haven't we?
Seen that. First series
the Trent
of the
Grisham
year.
Game.
It's a nice, good full circle stuff. Yankees really struggle versus lefties, and they have 2.5 of them. Let's go Yanks. I'll get hurt. I don't give a fuck. Yankees Padres. Ooh, a little feeling like
96?
98.
98.
Feeling like 98, huh? Padres Yankees for me. I don't know. I'm gonna hedge the hedge. I'm gonna go Padres. I'll just break my heart like that. I don't I don't know.
I mean, I kind of would love to see that.
Yeah.
Just your face, the brokenness of it. I would love to see that. I don't mean that in any negative way. Just I would love to see you hurt.
Trevor Plouffe, end it with your World Series pick.
Oh, the Phillies. Bryce Harper spraying champagne. He's going to have this crazy, like, he's going to be on all the talk shows. He's going to be in Las Vegas. Him and Celine Dion together. I don't know. Something fun's going to happen with this.
Everybody, thank you for an incredible regular season. We're going to be checking in with you in a couple hours. I think we're recording live after tonight's games. We're going to be mixing it up between nights and mornings, doing the best we can, to be honest with you. Enjoy the baseball.
Sucks.
Come live stream with us all day. Watch baseball.
I told Liv that. I said, Liv, I'm going to be watching baseball all day. It's my job.
It's my job. Cuts to Mets Royals World Series.
I have the worst bracket in the history of